Phil Anderton has launched a staunch defence of Vladimir Romanov's signing policy and say in team matters as the fallout between the club's major shareholder and former manager George Burley continues. Anderton, who admits it could be months before a successor to Burley is found, also says he's encouraged to learn that Sir Bobby Robson has expressed an interest in taking over the Tynecastle hot seat. Raman Bardwaj has spent the day in Edinburgh.
After witnessing the most extraordinary chain of events at Hearts in the last 48 hours, John McGlynn and the Tynecastle players had to put the off-the-pitch mayhem to one side today as they prepared for the club's game against Kilmarnock. After being vacated from his post, George Burley said today he had no regrets and believed Hearts were in as good a position as it's ever been. Burley's relationship with Hearts' sugar daddy Vladimir Romanov deteriorated to such an extent. The result was the Scots' departure. Romanov's signing and perhaps even his selection policy was all too much. But today, the club's chief executive, Phil Anderton, launched a staunch defence of the Lithuanian millionaire.
The final say in terms of what the team is on the park is and always will be with the manager. I'm not for 1 minute trying to make out that other people in the club or outside of the club don't have views.
And one man's name who you never mentioned there was Mr. Romanov.
Well, of course, Mr. Romanov, especially if he's the guy who's funding the club.
How healthy is that?
I think it's perfectly healthy to have people with a view on how the team should be constructed. Where it becomes unhealthy, and I concur absolutely, is when the manager is not given that say on who should be in the team, but that's not the case.
Sir Bobby Robson and Neville Scala have both expressed an interest in succeeding Burley. Today, though, Anderton wasn't too forthcoming.
I'm not going to get into any comments about who's top, middle or bottom of any list. And we're making a presumption here that Sir Bobby Robson would want to come to the club.
Well, he stated he would want to come.
Well, that's encouraging to hear that. Now, what I'll be doing over the coming days and weeks is talking to the candidates that we're looking to bring to the club.
Whether it's Robson, Scala or someone else who succeeds Burley, supporters are demanding to know exactly why the Scot and Hearts parted company.
Just tell us the truth. If there's been a real clash of personalities, fine, but let's know, was he pushed? Was he sacked? Did he resign? They've stalled all this with the confidentiality bit, but in actual fact, the supporters deserve to know whether the best manager we've had, with the best start we've had since 1910 or something, here we are again, big major blow to the club and the supporters, and nobody wants to tell us the real reasons.
Now is the time not to be looking at scapegoats. Now is the time to be uniting behind the club and continuing the momentum, and let's take it forward and hopefully get what we want, which is back into Europe for next year.
Well, the rain may have been teeming in Gorgie all day, but the only weather that counts is whether Phil Anderton can find the right man to sit in the home dugout. And it appears the new manager will have to maintain a unique relationship with Vladimir Romanov, something which George Burley couldn't do. Raman Bardwaj, Scotland Today at Tynecastle.